Welcome back to Sissy Maya. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to never miss an update. Additionally, consider subscribing to my Patreon to get access to these features, and much more. It was my birthday today, nothing too extraordinary, but still a birthday. So, I was hopeful that I might receive some nice gifts. Jennifer, my wife, had requested that I take the day off from work because she had a surprise in store for me. I had no clue what it could be, but I always enjoy surprises, and any reason to take a break from the office is a welcome one. The day began like any other. Jennifer surprised me with breakfast in bed, and I happily unwrapped the cards and little gifts from my close family. Suddenly, Jennifer exclaimed, "We can't waste any time lounging around. I have an extraordinary day planned for you, so hurry up and get ready. We need to be in town by 10 a.m. I exclaimed, "Wow, this is so exciting. So, what's the plan? What should I wear?" "I don't think it would come as a shock if I spilled the beans right now," she mentioned. "Oh, and no need to stress, just throw on something comfy. Your current outfit isn't a big deal, after all." I went along with it, even though it was a bit mysterious. After taking a shower and shaving, I quickly got dressed in jeans and a t-shirt. I met Jennifer downstairs, all set to go. It took us about 30 minutes to drive into town, with Jennifer behind the wheel as usual since she wasn't a fan of my driving. Luckily, she found a parking spot right outside her beloved beauty salon on High Street. "Hey, let's get going, this is the place we should begin," she exclaimed, gesturing towards the salon. I responded, "What exactly are you trying to say? Why are we here?" "Just wait and see," she answered. "Join me, you're going to have a blast." Sure, I figured. Perhaps she had scheduled me for a massage or facial. I always enjoyed those. I trailed behind her as we entered the salon and stood by as she spoke to the receptionist. After a brief phone call, a tall blonde girl in the standard salon attire of a white smock and leggings emerged from a door at the back of the reception area. "Hey there, Ben," Mary greeted. "I'm Mary, and I'll be taking care of you today." "Sure," Jennifer said to me, "go ahead. I have a few things to take care of. I'll come back for you in a couple of hours." A little disoriented but excited for the unexpected, I bid farewell to Jennifer and trailed behind Mary. We entered a tiny room at the back, furnished with only a chair, a mirror, and a towel. Mary handed me a set of paper pants and instructed me to change into them after undressing, wrap myself in a towel, and then proceed to the treatment room for the commencement of my treatments. With that, she left me to my own devices. I couldn't help but think, wow, Jennifer has surprised me with a full-body massage. How delightful. I've been eagerly anticipating this. I hastily took off my clothes, slipped into the pants, and exited the room. Mary was already there, so I trailed behind her as we entered the treatment room. Without thinking, I laid down on the treatment bed in the center of the room. "All right, let's kick off today's session with a complete body waxing," Mary informed. "Huh!" I exclaimed, sitting up. "No, you've got it all wrong. I'm just here for a massage." "Nah, that's not what's scheduled," she mentioned. "Your wife has given us clear instructions. We're supposed to begin with a complete wax, then move on to a makeover, manicure, and wig fitting. I understand it's a bit unconventional, considering you're a guy, but the directions were quite specific." "I'm not entirely convinced," I hesitated. "I think I'll just put my clothes back on and go ask my wife." "Mary said you probably won't have any luck there. She mentioned that they were supposed to grab your clothes from the changing room right after you left, pack them up, and send them to your wife. Your wife most likely already left the salon. So, you can go if you want, but you'll have to leave in the towel you're wearing." My mind was racing. I was at a loss. At this stage of the tale, I should clarify that I enjoy dressing in women's clothing, but only on occasion. My wife had caught glimpses of me in the past, but truth be told, she wasn't too fond of it and preferred me not to. I even wore a maid's uniform at home, and she allowed me to do the ironing upstairs, away from her view. She simply wasn't enthusiastic about it. Therefore, being scheduled for a salon makeover, while surprising, was also a bit of a dream come true. I was uncertain about what to do next, and I had no idea what Jennifer had planned for me. The idea both terrified me and sparked a bit of excitement. I chose to act as the unwilling target with Mary. "All right," I replied, "go ahead and give it your best shot." "Great," Mary replied. "Okay, let's begin. Just lie down and try your best not to scream." I took off the towel, and then she began spreading the warm wax on my legs and using paper strips to remove it. "Oh, oh, oh." I did my best to refrain from shouting. It was an unfamiliar sensation for me. Thankfully, my back and chest were mostly devoid of hair, so they didn't suffer much. However, it didn't take long for my arms, legs, and hands to become completely smooth. "Sure, almost finished," Mary said. "Just need to work on your eyebrows." "Almost there," Mary mentioned. "Just have to do your eyebrows." She then proceeded to apply small amounts of wax to my eyebrows, and with a swift pull, she finished in no time. "All right, we're finished," she exclaimed. "Here, grab this moisturizer and gently apply it all over to soothe your skin. Take a few moments to catch your breath, and then meet me in the room across the hall." Following her instructions, I applied the cream, kept my towel on, and sneakily made my way across the hallway to the door on the other side. Mary and another girl were waiting for me inside. "All right, Ben," Mary said, "we've completed the initial stage. Now, it's time for the exciting part. We're going to turn you into a stunning woman. I'll take care of your makeup and wig, while Claire will give you a fabulous manicure. Just have a seat in this chair and watch us work our magic." I couldn't find the right words to say, so I just forced a smile and took a seat. They positioned themselves in a way that I couldn't see what they were doing, probably on purpose. Mary began by applying foundation, bronzer, highlighter, and blusher to my face. Every now and then, she would step back to assess her work and make minor adjustments. Then she moved on to my eyes, using an eyebrow pencil, eyeshadows, eyeliner, and finally mascara. Next came my lips, where she applied foundation color, top color, lip liner, blotted, and added gloss. Meanwhile, Claire was busy giving me a manicure. When she finished one hand, I held it up to inspect her work. She had attached false nails to my fingers. The sight at the end of my freshly shaved hand, glowing in a vibrant red, took me by surprise. It made my fingers appear more delicate and feminine. Mary then moved on to my other hand, snapping me out of my stunned silence. "I believe we've done a fantastic job with your face, Ben. Although I have to admit, you don't really resemble a Ben anymore," she chuckled. "Now, let's talk about your hair. So, what's your preference? Going blonde or brunette?" I stuttered. "I honestly don't care." Mary suggested, "Let me pick for you. I believe you'd look fantastic as a blonde with your coloring. Plus, they do say blondes have more fun." After that, a small chuckle escaped her lips as she saw me in my awkward predicament. Mary stepped out of the room for a moment and came back holding a blonde wig on a mannequin head. She gently put a wig cap on me, dabbed some spirit gum on my forehead, and in a flash, she had the wig snugly in place. With a look of concentration, she carefully applied makeup to blend the hairline seamlessly. She took the time to explain the process to me. "Okay," she said suddenly. "I believe we're finished. Want to take a look?" I believe that was a rhetorical question because she swiftly turned the chair around and directed me towards the mirror. Initially, I mistook it for a photograph of an astonishing blonde lady. However, my reaction of wow was mirrored by her, leaving me astounded. As I raised my eyebrows, she did the same with her delicate, feminine brows. I was left speechless by my appearance from the neck up. The reflection showed a stunning blonde woman, with no trace of masculinity. I was completely captivated, unable to divert my gaze from this incredible sight. But could that truly be me? My trance was interrupted by Jennifer entering the room, carrying several bags. She gasped, halting abruptly. Mary motioned to Claire, and they swiftly exited the room, shutting the door. I glanced at Jennifer, offering a sheepish grin. I mean, I was only wearing a towel and paper pants. Jennifer gasped, her words escaping in a rush. I can't even find the right words to say. You look incredibly feminine. If I hadn't seen you, I wouldn't have recognized you at all. How are you feeling? I was at a loss for words. I really appreciate the effort the girls put in, I said. It's a bit unexpected to be sitting here in front of you. This birthday surprise is truly wonderful. Thank you. Jennifer was able to collect herself. No problem at all. Listen, I may not be the best at fashion, but I understand how important it is to you. That's why, on your special day, I wanted to make it unforgettable. I reached out to some friends for help, and voila, trust me, sweetheart, things are only going to get better from here. Just wait and see. I inquired, what are you thinking about? Oh, I can't spill the beans and ruin the surprise. But hey, we better hurry up if we want to be on time. Time to start getting you ready. She gave me a bag, and as I peeked inside, I found some panties and a corset. I glanced up at Jennifer, pausing for a moment. Are you absolutely certain? I asked with a hint of doubt. I am. What about you? She confidently responded. This is all set up for you, and I've made sure there's no turning back. I anticipated you might feel nervous, but I knew you'd regret it if you backed out. That's why we're going to see this through. First off, I've removed all your male clothes from the salon. You can still change your mind, but you'd be walking out in a towel and makeup. You don't have your car keys, and I'm not lending you mine. Secondly, everything is being recorded on CCTV. See that camera in the corner? It's been capturing your transformation. I won't show it to everyone, but I know a few who would find it amusing, you visiting a female beauty salon and getting a makeover. She was correct. I got caught. I wasn't certain if she was doubting my bluff, but decided it was better not to argue. I stood up, removed my paper pants, and wore the black panties from the bag. I loosely fastened the corset around my body and allowed Jennifer to tighten it from behind. She did. I could hardly breathe. I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror and adored the feminine silhouette it created. Then, she gave me a set of black sheer-seamed stockings from the bag. I took a seat and pulled them up my legs, ensuring the seams were straight, and fastened them to the straps on the corset. Jennifer crouched in front of me and took out a pair of black patent 4-inch heels with ankle straps from another bag. I appreciated her help since I wouldn't be able to bend down in this corset. She placed the heels on my feet and secured the straps in place. Clicked. I could have sworn they had buckles. Hey babe, we're on the third step now, she mentioned. Your shoes are securely fastened to your feet. Unfortunately, I left the key at home, so there's no way you can take them off without my assistance. Oh, and the corset is locked up too, with the key safely at home. If you're feeling adventurous and want to make a break for it, go ahead. Just keep in mind that those heels might slow you down, and you'll definitely attract some attention. Feeling lucky? I felt completely stuck with no way out. She had me cornered. I was starting to get really anxious about what could happen next. She gave me a pair of breast forms, and I tucked them into the front of the corset. They warmed up to my body in no time, and the corset kept them securely in position. "Oh, that's so sweet," she exclaimed. "You're absolutely rocking that feminine look. So, starting today, you won't be Ben anymore, you'll be Bennett." How does that sound, Bennett? I glanced down at my feet, unsure of what to say. I mean, can you at least give me a hint about our plans? Are we going out for dinner? Should I dress up? Well, it's kind of like that, but not exactly, she replied. And please, stop trying to ruin the surprise. All right, this next piece of clothing might just give you a little hint. With that in mind, she unzipped the suit carrier she had brought into the room and revealed its contents. I was completely taken aback. It was the most stunning French maid's dress I had ever laid eyes on, made of black satin, with short sleeves and adorned with layers of ruffled petticoat. Hanging beside it was a white satin apron and cap. I can't put that on, I stuttered. Sure you can, Jennifer responded. And you definitely will. I can tell you're eager to. And let's be honest, you don't really have many options, unless you prefer to leave this place wearing your corset. She grinned. She was correct. I had to put on the dress. Deep down, I was eager to slip into it, but then what? The only exit from the salon was through the front door, or onto the street. And then what? Head back home to do some ironing? Although it had been enjoyable, I never intended to spend my birthday doing chores. I believe Jennifer sensed my hesitation as she removed the dress from its hanger. Come on, Bennett. We don't have all day. We still have another appointment, she urged, holding the dress open for me, trying to hurry me along. I slipped into the dress and slid my arms through the delicate sleeves. Jennifer zipped me up from behind, making sure everything was secure. The fabric hugged me snugly as she adjusted the zipper at the back of my neck. Bennett, the zipper on your maid's dress is securely fastened and hidden away with a lock. I bet you can figure out where the key is, she teased with a mischievous tone. I put on the petticoat and gave it a tug, making the dress flare out. It was a bit short, barely covering my stocking tops. Glancing at my reflection in the mirror, I realized I was fine as long as I stood straight. If I had to bend down, though, it would be a different story. Jennifer saw me checking myself out in the mirror and I saw her too. She had a grin on her face, looking pleased as punch, as she fastened the apron around my waist and placed the small cap on my head. From her bag, she took out some earrings and put them on me. She smiled and said, "There we go. Finished. Go ahead and check yourself out in the mirror. How do you feel about it?" I glanced at my reflection in the mirror and couldn't help but admire the whole ensemble. From the sleek black heels and delicate stockings to the frilly petticoat peeking out from under my snug satin maid's dress, everything was just perfect. My curvaceous figure looked amazing, and my flawless makeup and hair completed the look. I was left speechless, my knees almost giving way under the sheer beauty before me. Suddenly, a flash from the corner of my eye brought me back to reality. The camera fired again. Jennifer chuckled, "Oh, Bennett, the charming French maid. Imagine the possibilities with these pictures. I have countless friends who would love to have you at their gatherings, you know." I glanced over at Jennifer and felt a wave of nerves wash over me. "You wouldn't actually do it, right? I mean, the idea is thrilling, but I've never gone out dressed like this. I'm not sure if I could handle it. It's pretty intimidating." I could feel a quiver in my voice when I spoke. It sounded gentler, more delicate, and exposed. "Sure, let's see how things unfold today. Ready to go? My car's waiting outside." I freaked out. I can't leave the house looking like this. I'm sure the salon is packed. What are people going to think? She gently stroked my arm. "Hey, you're absolutely stunning. No one will even suspect that you're dressed up as a guy. They'll just think you're a fabulous lady heading to a costume bash. Just walk confidently, flash a smile, and sway your hips a little. Take it easy, don't rush, and everything will be all right. And if you still feel unsure afterwards, don't worry. I'll step out there and explain the situation to them, then invite them in one by one to see for themselves. Besides, you'll eventually have to leave in those clothes that can't be taken off. So, what's your decision?" She was absolutely serious. What choice did I have? I needed to find my way back to the car, and the only route led through the salon. "Sure thing," I whispered, "I'll go with you." Jennifer graciously held the door for me to pass through. Stepping out of the comfort of the room, I cautiously made my way, attempting to mimic a graceful walk. First down the hallway behind the salon, then through the door at the far end, which led into the main salon. I took a deep breath and confidently pushed through, grabbing the handle. Initially, nobody paid attention, but soon enough, I caught people's glances and received a few impressed wows. Many smiles were exchanged, and a couple of people even exclaimed, "You look incredible." I returned their smiles and continued walking, feeling a mix of embarrassment and hoping that my makeup would conceal it. I made a quick stop at the reception area where Mary was already waiting. Jennifer came over and said hello to Mary. "Hey Fee. I must say, you've really outdone yourself with Bennett. She looks absolutely gorgeous." "Oh, thanks, Hal. It was no big deal. It was quite a challenge, but I believe it turned out well." "I'm confident Bennett will have a blast," Mary responded, highlighting my feminine name. I turned bright red beneath all that makeup, desperately hoping the ground would just open up and swallow me whole. "Well, thanks anyways. Just put the treatments on my tab, and I'll pay you back next time I swing by," Jennifer said. "Sure thing, Fee. Enjoy yourself, Bennett," Mary replied. I glanced at Mary, gave her a grateful smile, and then Jennifer came over to open the door and held it for me. "No problem, Fee. Have a blast, Bennett," Mary responded. I turned to Mary, flashed a quick thank you, and then Jennifer circled around me to open the door and kept it open for me. I could still sense the stares from the majority of the ladies in the salon as they checked me out, whether it was with a hint of understanding, admiration, or envy, I couldn't tell. But it was definitely a gaze that I wasn't accustomed to. As I stepped out of the salon and onto the street, I couldn't help but notice how short my dress was when the cool breeze brushed against my legs. Jennifer locked the car from the inside, and I hurriedly slid into the passenger seat, attempting to maintain my composure and avoid any wardrobe malfunctions. It was quite a challenge, especially when trying to fasten the seatbelt with long nails and a curvier figure. Jennifer seemed to be having a great time. Her smile was evident as I grappled with the situation. With the engine roaring to life, she smoothly shifted the car into gear, and we embarked on our journey. "So, are we heading back home?" I inquired. She replied, "It's been a while, Bennett. We have a lot to accomplish before that. What else can we do? Can we please go home now? It's been a blast, I've had such a great time, but can we just go back home? I'll even do some chores for you, like ironing." She wasn't having any of it. "No way, baby. Just relax and have fun. We'll reach the next part of your birthday surprise in 10 minutes, Jennifer playfully taunted. She had no intention of revealing what was coming next and definitely wasn't going to release me from the situation, so I simply stayed quiet and allowed her to continue driving. We traveled for a brief period before I realized that we had veered off the main road and entered the entrance of the manor house. I was familiar with this location, even though I had never visited before. It used to be an ancient mansion that was transformed into a hotel and dining establishment a couple of years ago. With the addition of a skilled chef, it had quickly become a popular spot in the area. The property had a beautiful, lengthy driveway. While driving in, I spotted some signs indicating they were hosting a French food festival, which was starting that day. "Why are we here?" I inquired. "I've heard great things about this restaurant, but I can't go inside looking like this." "French festival or not?" Jennifer remained silent, opting to veer off the main entrance and instead took a right turn towards the sign that read staff and deliveries. My gaze shifted towards Jennifer, feeling a sense of relief as the butterflies in my stomach dissipated, wondering what awaited us ahead. She parked at the rear of the house, and as soon as she did, a well-dressed man hurried from the closest entrance. He opened the car door. "You've arrived. Come on, Bennett, you're running late, and we're already in the middle of lunch service. Being a head chef isn't a walk in the park, so hurry up and head inside," he said, gesturing towards what seemed to be the kitchen. I glanced at Jennifer, feeling a mix of confusion and fear. My lips formed the word help without making a sound. "Come on, Bennett," she said with a motherly tone. I gazed at Jennifer, feeling a combination of bewilderment and panic. My lips moved silently, mouthing the word help. "All right, Bennett," she said with a matronly voice. "Smith has generously offered you the opportunity to gain work experience at the restaurant, just like I mentioned earlier. It's important to have renowned establishments like this on your CV if you want to make a mark in this industry. I understand that wearing the uniform might make you feel a bit down, but there's no need to worry. All the other waitresses will be dressed the same way, and it's all part of promoting the French festival." My heart was racing twice as fast now. I sensed Smith standing behind me, glancing at her watch. Jennifer was up ahead, her eyes telling me to follow her instructions if I wanted to avoid any embarrassing situation. "All right, let's go, Bennett," Smith exclaimed, pulling me towards the entrance of the hotel. "To begin with, you won't have to take orders. You'll simply assist in the kitchen. It's a gentle way for you to get started. You'll be on your feet for a few hours, and then we'll have a break before dinner service begins. During that break, we might even have you help serve afternoon tea in the orange tree. We'll decide as we go along." As we rushed through the kitchen towards the serving area, the truth of the matter hit me. It was at that moment I realized that Jennifer was right. The other waitresses were all dressed in matching outfits and towering high heels. Some of them flashed a smile, but most just hurried past like typical busy waitresses in a bustling kitchen. A couple even shot me disapproving looks. Evidently, news had already spread that I was running late. Smith directed me to the table plan posted on the wall and recommended that I commit it to memory. After that, she led me to join the queue of other maids waiting to serve meals to the tables. There were a couple of people ahead of me, allowing me a moment to reflect on how I ended up in this situation. It was definitely a birthday I won't forget. Standing there, I suddenly felt the discomfort of my ankles in heels, the constriction of the corset, and the stickiness of the lipstick on my lips. Lost in my thoughts, I was snapped back to reality by Smith's loud voice. "Bennett, service. Take these to table 9, he yelled. I moved ahead, grabbed the 2 plates, examined the floor plan on the wall, and pushed open the swing doors into the restaurant with my back. As I turned around, I felt a bit overwhelmed by the sheer number of people in the room. There must have been at least 100, mostly consisting of the waiting staff. While most of them paid no attention to me, there were a couple of creepy guys who I could tell were mentally undressing me. Other than that, it seemed like nobody even noticed. With a newfound sense of assurance that I could actually make this happen, I headed towards table 9. I greeted the guests with a friendly smile, set the plates down, exchanged a quick glance, received a grateful thank you, and responded with a humble smile. After that, I made my way back to the kitchen. As I was leaving, I could have sworn I heard a faint "she's beautiful" coming from table 9, but I might have misheard. The lunch rush lasted for quite a while, and I was so engrossed in my work that I almost didn't remember I was wearing a costume. I managed to keep Smith satisfied and avoided any food spills. Honestly, even though I felt a bit embarrassed, I was starting to have fun. After we finished lunch, me and the other waitresses got a chance to take a break. I found a quiet spot in the staff room, while some of the other girls complained about the long hours, the low pay, the uncomfortable heels, and the guys who had been staring at them during lunch. I had only been in there for about 10 minutes when Smith stuck his head around the door. "Bennett, got a small task for you. We need waitress service in the orangery," he grinned. I got up from my chair and stood on my tiptoes before trailing behind Smith to the service hatch. A tray with afternoon tea essentials was waiting for us: a teapot, cups, saucers, and an assortment of biscuits. "Table 3 at the orange tree, appreciate it, Bennett," he grinned. I pulled myself up from my seat onto my toes and followed Smith to the service hatch. There, a tray was set up for afternoon tea, a teapot, cups and saucers, and a variety of biscuits. "Table 3 at the orange tree, thanks, Bennett," he smiled. I grabbed the tray, strolled through the deserted restaurant, past the entrance hall, and into the orange tree. While making my way, I spotted table 3 across the room next to the window. Jennifer was seated there, along with 3 of her best friends from our village, all familiar faces to me. My lips began to quiver, and I felt like I couldn't move, as my mind raced to come up with a plan. Suddenly, Jennifer caught my attention and called out, "Waitress, over here, please." I found myself stuck in a difficult situation. I really wish I could just leave, I pondered. How am I going to pull this off in front of her friends? I glanced over at Jennifer, who returned my gaze with a piercing look. I observed her absent-mindedly fiddling with a chain around her neck, and I could barely see 3 small keys dangling from the end of it. My legs were trembling as I carefully walked over to the table and placed the tray down. I flashed a polite smile before Jennifer caught my eye. "Would you mind pouring for us?" she inquired. A heavy feeling of dread settled in my stomach. "Of course, madam," I whispered quietly. I started arranging the cups and saucers. "Thanks," she responded. "May I ask for your name?" I sensed 4 sets of eyes watching me. "It's Bennett, madam," I whispered. "Hey Bennett," she went on. "The girls and I were just discussing the outfits you all have on today. I'm assuming it's just for the French festival since it's not the usual uniform around here, right?" "Sure thing," I replied while pouring the tea, making a conscious effort to not meet anyone's gaze. She looked at me intensely and asked, "What are your thoughts on wearing this? Don't you feel like it's degrading or embarrassing?" "Nope, madam. It's just part of the gig," I responded, aiming to keep my replies short. "I mean, nobody forced you to wear that outfit, did they? Ultimately, you had a say in it, didn't you?" "Of course," I replied. As I leaned over to pour the tea, I couldn't help but notice that my stocking tops were peeking out from the side and back. One of Jennifer's friends caught sight of it and curiously asked, "Hey Bennett, I see you're wearing stockings. Is that something you choose to wear?" "I'm afraid not, Mindy exclaimed. "Gosh, I don't think I have the guts to do what you do. It would require a tremendous amount of convincing for me to wear something similar." "How about you, Sarah?" she inquired, shifting her attention to the lady sitting opposite her. Sarah chimed in, "For sure. Bennett, you really rock that outfit. It suits you so well and you seem really at ease in it. It definitely adds a special something to the whole look." The girls burst into laughter after that remark. "You know," Sarah added, "it would be amazing if I could have someone like you serving the food at my next dinner party. Do you ever work outside the hotel doing something like that?" Jennifer was really enjoying this. I could tell by the mischievous grin on her face. "Sarah, that's a brilliant idea," Jennifer added. "I've actually worked with the agency that provides staff for this hotel before. I've conducted some training sessions for them. Maybe I can pull some strings for our next girls' night. We could have Bennett come over in her maid outfit to serve our drinks. How does that sound?" The girls giggled and cheered with joy. "I love it," Mindy cried out. I had just completed pouring the tea and was feeling completely embarrassed. The humiliation was overwhelming, making me feel like I was going to be sick. Despite this, I remained standing there, anticipating being told to leave. "Hey Bennett, is there something on your mind?" Jennifer asked, arching her eyebrow. "Is there anything else you need, madam?" I inquired. Jennifer expressed her gratitude to Bennett and indicated that she had no further requests. I expressed my gratitude, "Thank you, madam," and surprisingly, I even attempted a curtsy. With my newly refined feminine stride, I confidently walked away. The remarks from the table were impossible to ignore this time. "She looks beautiful. You absolutely have to book her for the drinks party you were planning. What are your thoughts?" "Absolutely." Laughter filled the room as they all giggled in unison. "Sure thing," Jennifer's voice rang out as I made my way to the door. "Let me give it a shot." As I entered the room, I started walking through the foyer when suddenly Jennifer's voice caught my attention. "Hey Bennett," she called out, "can I talk to you for a sec?" I glanced over and noticed Jennifer standing near the entrance of the orangery. "Hey, can we talk real quick in that meeting room over there?" She motioned towards the one across from the orange tree. "Of course," I replied, then entered the room. She shut the door after me. "So," she inquired with a quizzical expression, "how's everything going?" I gazed into her eyes, feeling desperate. I'm at a loss for words, Jennifer. I honestly didn't think you approved of my style, but today you've taken it to a whole new level. I've found myself in more embarrassing scenarios than I could have imagined. What's the reason behind this, and why now? Jennifer pondered for a moment,
a warm smile spreading across her face, more compassionate than vengeful. "Listen, Ben, it's just as I mentioned earlier. I realize how much you enjoy this stuff." She motioned towards my attire, and honestly, I didn't quite grasp it before. I was probably a little apprehensive. So, I did some research online and discovered that it's actually a harmless pastime that many guys partake in. However, I also learned that the main issue people like you face is fear. Fear of acceptance, fear of being exposed, and how that, in itself, can be quite thrilling, she added. Since it's your special day, I wanted to organize a day that allows you to pamper yourself while also challenging yourself beyond your usual limits. I want to create a birthday experience that you will always cherish. Just remember, I care about you and all I want is to see you happy, you know? I flashed a gentle smile. Jennifer, thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate this. You're absolutely right. There were moments when I felt paralyzed with fear, but the thrill, I couldn't have experienced it any other way. I can't wait to take off these heels and go home with you. Jennifer gave me a confused look. Sorry, Bennett, but I can't leave right now. I'm with the girls, and I can't just abandon them, can I? They're under the impression that I'm in the process of booking you for our next girls' night in. And if you cause any issues, I might just follow through with that plan. Also, I assured Smith that you'd be here for the evening shift. I'm sorry, sweetheart, but you still have a few more hours to go. I'll come get you around midnight, all right? She lightly patted my cheek, then swiftly turned towards the door. After opening it, she shot me a look that clearly meant I needed to adjust to the situation. And just like that, she disappeared.